everyone. Glad to see you all here. Celebrate a very special event for your young people. Physics graduation ceremony, so I officially welcome you here today. My name is David Son, and as the program indicates, I'm serving as an interim department chair for the Department of Physics. I'm actually a professor in the Department of Chemistry, and this past year I've been serving administratively to help out in the physics department, and it's been really an enjoyable year. I've learned so much about astronomy, cosmology, high-energy particle physics that I never thought I'd learn in my lifetime, but the past year has been a very educational experience for me, and I've enjoyed it greatly. One of the great aspects of being chair is you get to do events like this and preside over events like this to honor our students, and it's really a privilege and honor for me to do so this afternoon. Before we begin, I do want to introduce the faculty from the Department of Physics who are joining us today. And if you are, when I name you, if you don't mind standing up briefly, that would be great. So immediately to my right, we have Professor Robert Kehoe. And to his right is Professor Joel Myers. And to his right is Professor Krista Lynn Smith. So this will be a nice, short ceremony. I don't mind having small ceremonies because I feel like they're more intimate and personal. We can spend more time talking about each of the graduates, and I think that's special for family and friends, so I hope you don't mind it. Also, please feel free to take photos and videos, which I see many of you are already. Feel free to move around if you need to get a better angle. We're certainly not going to object to that at all today. I will mention that as I introduce each of the graduates, you will get a small parting gift from us in those clear bags, compliments of the SMU Department of External Affairs and the Department of Student Affairs, all sorts of SMU paraphernalia. And those that are clear bags, I understand because those are clear bags, you can actually take them into the main ceremony tomorrow, because we have restrictions going indoors with football teams if they're clear bags. So feel free, if you're so inclined, to take those with you if you attend tomorrow morning ceremony. I'll also give you a diploma cover for the undergraduates. It's not the actual diploma itself, because I believe those will be mailed later. But at least you'll have a cover so you can take pictures and pretend like it's your actual diploma, so that would be nice. All right, so let's begin. I will introduce the undergraduates, and then Professor Myers will introduce our sole recipient of a PhD. I will start with the Physics BA degree recipients, and let me just tell you a little bit about the BA degree. The BA degree in physics is appropriate for students who wish to combine a physics curriculum with a broad liberal arts program with the intention of pursuing careers such as medicine, law, teaching, IT, business, and government. The BA degree requires a minimum of 29 credit hours of physics, including courses in classical physics and quantum physics. And additionally, students have to take at least 9 credit hours in calculus. Now, we do have 2 recipients of the BA. I will introduce them separately. And when I call your name, please walk down this way and stand next to me while I say a few nice things about you. So the first recipient of the Physics BA is Jacob Armstrong. Jacob, you come down. He's from Austin, Texas, and is joined by several family members today. And I believe they're from this side. Okay, excellent. Now, in addition to getting the Physics BA, Jacob is getting a BS degree in economics with financial applications and minors in math, data science, and business. Very impressive. He has received 2 scholarships here at SMU, the Arnold Air Force grant and Fulton Honor grants through his GAV service in the United States Air Force. So thank you for your service. I appreciate that. We all appreciate that. While at SMU, Jacob served in the Real Estate Club, also in the Society of Physics Students, and he served as a treasurer his junior year. And they sponsored events like Dark Matter Day. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about this, but apparently on Dark Matter Day, they hide, I think it's 26 rocks, does that sound right? Around campus, and I guess 26 represents the percentage of the universe that's comprised of dark matter. Did I get that right? Oh, see, the things I learned in the physics department. And then people, campus, the community can find these rocks and trade them in for a cool gift and post on social media, and that sounds a lot of fun. Now, he considers his most significant accomplishment here is graduating with double majors and multiple minors that really have virtually zero overlapping courses. So let's think about physics and economics. Not much overlap. They're very impressive to finish those, in addition to those minors I mentioned earlier. What he will miss most about SMU is the close environment and his friends from those different fields that he has studied. And he also mentioned the campus architecture. So SMU is kind of famous for being a very beautiful campus, and if you walk around it all today, hopefully you will confirm that. We have these Georgian architectural buildings, and that's what SMU is well known for. When I asked Jake what he learned at SMU, he said he learned to have more professional interactions, particularly through his interactions in the real estate club, where he learned to network. I asked Jake why he chose physics as one of his majors, and he said he wants to build a research facility. And he wants to help researchers do energy research, and the ultimate dream he has is to discover new sources of energy. And physics is a great way to learn about energy, of course. In terms of his future plans, short term, he will stay in Dallas and work in real estate development and get experience. And eventually he wants to start a real estate company, save money to eventually build this research facility I just mentioned, and hopefully that will progress nicely. I asked Jake what he wants to do in his spare time. He wants to hang out with his friends. He also mentioned that it's not widely known, perhaps that he is left-handed. And I did some research, and I think it's about 10% of the population is left-handed. Okay. And he also does a little music production on the side as well as a hobby. Jacob would like to acknowledge, in closing, his parents and grandparents for always supporting him. And in particular, he called out his mom, Erica, for pretty much everything, supporting him through his collegiate journey. And she's the first person to go to for help. So, Mom, great. We're appreciative. So, Jacob, congratulations. All right. Just walk in and we have some good. Yeah. The next recipient of the Physics PA is George Buchenberger. So George, please come on down. George also comes to us from Austin, Texas, and joined by family and girlfriend Erin Pierce. I have to mention Erin because Erin is an SMU alum from the chemistry department, so I know Erin from her earlier days. In addition to the Physics BA, George is getting a BA in chemistry with minors in math, cognitive science, and neuroscience. So again, multiple majors and minors, very, very impressive. George here was a President's Scholar, which is the highest academic merit award here. Comes with full tuition and fees for 4 years. He's graduating magna cum laude, which requires a 3.91 overall GPA. This year he was awarded the Frank McDonald Award for Excellence in Physics. He's also a member of Phi Beta Kappa, which is the nation's oldest and most prestigious honor society in the liberal arts and sciences. I asked George what his most significant accomplishment was at SMU, and he mentioned his research experiences. So, for example, in the summer after his second year, he obtained a Richter Fellowship to study local food deserts, and he presented this at the Fall Research Symposium. And last summer, he studied abroad at the University of Glasgow in plant biology, and this went well, except he happened to get COVID and had to go 6 days straight without sleep. So that, I can't imagine how he survived, but that's very impressive. He will miss the people here and his friends at SMU, and he learned at SMU to become more independent and pursue his own intellectual interests. Now, I asked George what his favorite course was. I didn't mention this, but he took organic chemistry with me in 2021, but he didn't mention that course. Not offended by that. He instead mentioned philosophy of consciousness, and it helped him realize he liked psychology. I'll come back to that a little bit later. He chose his majors because his dad is a physical chemist at Thermo Fisher. I like your dad already. Where's your dad? Oh, excellent, excellent. Good job. And George also liked learning how things work, so physics and chemistry are certainly great ways to learn those things. Well, despite his degrees in chemistry and physics, George is actually going to pursue a master's in counseling at UT Austin. And after that, he'll probably get some hours in to get his license, and then maybe go into private practice and maybe get a PhD. So we look forward to hearing about that. George is very active outside of class. He likes going swimming, biking, running, rock climbing. He started a rock climbing club here at SMU. And he and Erin are also actively watching this series, The Americans. Is that right? I believe that's available on Hulu, in case you're interested. And finally, George would like to thank his friends and family, and particularly his parents and girlfriend, Erin, who were so supportive throughout college, especially during the COVID years. So, George, congratulations. So we have one recipient of a BS degree. Before I introduce her, I will mention that the BS degree in physics is designed for students who plan careers in physics in industry, research, laboratories, or academia. This requires a minimum of 41 credit hours of physics and 15 credit hours in mathematics. Our lone recipient of the BS degree in physics is Amy Herman. So Amy, come on down. Amy is from local city, Garland, Texas, and joined by several family and close friends. So I'm glad you can all be here. Besides the degree in physics, Amy is also getting a BS degree in statistical science with minors in mathematics and Spanish. So again, so impressive that our undergraduates have so many of these multiple major and minors. Are really, really impressive accomplishments. Well, Amy is graduating summa cum laude, which requires a 3.96 GPA with honors in the liberal arts. She's also a member of Phi Beta Kappa. She's received a number of scholarships here: the Provo Scholarship, Botana Scholarship, Edmund Scholarship, Discovery Scholarship, IDU Scholarship. In the physics department, she received a higher award in physics, two-time winner of the Wiley Award for Excellence in Physics. And this year, she was awarded the Robert and Nancy Denman Outstanding Senior Student. This is very impressive because Denman College is the largest school on campus, and every year Denman College selects just one student from all the departments to be the Outstanding Senior, and Amy was the recipient. So good job, Amy. Amy considers her most significant accomplishment all of the research she has done, including working with Professor Kehoe in astrophysics. And Amy, as an undergraduate, this is very impressive, she will be the first author on a paper entitled Characterizing Photonic Ring Resonator Filters for OH Suppressed Near-Infrared Astronomy. I don't even know what that means either, so you understand that we're not alone. And this paper will be submitted this summer. And again, as an undergraduate first author, very, very impressive. Last summer, she was a National Science Foundation REU student at Montana State University, and she's the second author on a paper from there entitled Vibration Compensation for Off-Axis Digital Holography. This was already submitted, and it's coming back just with some minor revisions, so I think that's a very good sign. And she was invited back to Montana last fall to present her research at a conference. This past year, she also did research in the departments of electrical engineering and statistics, supported by a Hamilton Research Fellowship, which is sponsored here in Denman College. What she will miss most about SMU, she said, are all the physics graduate students. I see a couple of them here today. Thank you for coming. She considers them her closest group of friends, and they kept her from quitting or burning out. Her favorite course in physics was statistical mechanics, and Dr. Scalise could not be here today, unfortunately. And then I asked Amy, why did you choose physics? And she said, well, she liked math, but she didn't think she was smart enough for it at the time. She didn't think it was astrology. And she didn't want to be an engineer because she didn't like to do group projects. And she liked theory and experimental work. Okay, future plans. This is very last minute, hot off the presses. She will be doing a one-year master's at the University of Cambridge in the Experimental Astronomy Master's Program. And after that, she'll be going to the PhD program in the University of Arizona to study optical science and engineering. It's very, very impressive, and we look forward to hearing more about you. Well, what you may not know about Amy is that she has been incredibly active in the Girl Scouts of the USA and Boy Scouts of America. She was in the Girl Scouts for 12 years, and in 2019, the Girl Scouts awarded her the Gold Award, which is the highest award in that organization. She's been even more involved in the Boy Scouts of America. Since coming to SMU, she conservatively estimated she's volunteered 5,000 hours towards that organization on various projects. She served on various committees and even did some statistical analysis research on membership data, which she presented to the National Committee. Another example, this coming summer is the Boy Scouts Jamboree, National Jamboree, which will do every 4 years, about 40,000 attendees, and Amy is going to be tasked with training around 900 young people for various administrative roles. For her service in the Boy Scouts, Amy received the Summit Award in 2021, which is the highest achievement within that organization for women under the age of 21. You know, I asked Amy, well, what do you think, what did you gain from all these experiences with the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts? And she said that before she got involved in these scouting organizations, she was very introverted, but her experiences forced her to be more sociable. Also gave her a safe place to fail early on in life, and therefore learn valuable life lessons. And maybe you're more open to doing group projects now as well. Finally, Amy would like to thank her mom and dad for always listening to her complain and vent over the phone. So thank you, mom and dad, for that. So Amy, congratulations. We have one recipient of a PhD, Eric Guzman, and he will be introduced by his advisor, Professor Joel Myers.
All right. Well, I'm very happy to introduce my first PhD student, Eric Guzman. Physics is the highest degree awarded to physicists, and it's a big honor in any circumstances to earn a PhD. It represents a huge amount of effort, sustained over many years. And in Eric, it was particularly challenging set of years for the period of time in our department. He's the only surviving graduate student from his cohort, from the SMU cohort. So he successfully completed his degree. And it was done without sacrifice. I know that for many of our Friday meetings, he would come in very stressed out from having given up sleep, from having given up watching the NFL and the NBA. There were months at a time when he would record all of the games and push through to get our projects done. And then once we had a paper out, he would go and watch all the recorded games, having a great internet, watching all the sports and see the sports. It's been a real honor for me to work with Eric. As I said, he's my first PhD student, and in some ways I think he spoiled me because he's such a hard worker, so responsible, and so capable as a student. He was actually my first student that I taught in a course as well. Eric's been at SMU longer than I have, so he took my cosmology course, and he was one of just a few students in that course in the first semester that I taught it and developed it. He became my research student shortly thereafter. We've grown quite close. We meet regularly every week for at least 2 hours. Often it extends well beyond that. And so I'll be sad to see that come to an end because I've really gotten close with Eric over the years. I've learned a huge amount from him. So his research is focused on machine learning applications for theoretical cosmology. Now, especially in the early days of that research, Eric was really the one leading me along. I didn't know anything about machine learning when we started these projects, but Eric made it clear that he wanted to go into industry and work in machine learning. And so we created these projects that we worked on for his PhD, specifically for him to gain experience in machine learning. And for much of the first many months working together, he was the one teaching me about machine learning and not the other way around. So it's been a real pleasure for me to work with him. It's a real honor to see him graduate. I'm extremely proud to see him succeed. He has a job lined up at Honeywell in Houston, which he starts in just about a week. So he's rapidly making the transition, no time to breathe, really, which is great, but also it'll be very sad to see him go. And so I couldn't be happier, couldn't be prouder of Eric. So congratulations.
So one of the benefits of having a small graduating class is that the ceremony is nice and short, and that actually brings us to the end. And I do want to point out that there is a reception. If you go out the door behind the auditorium and go to the right, you'll see a table set up with some drinks and snacks. So please spend some time and refresh yourselves, meet the graduates, talk to them, take pictures, and all that good stuff. So before we conclude, I will I invite all the graduates at the end to please stand one more time. Let's recognize their impressive accomplishments. Thank you all so much for sharing this occasion with us. I appreciate it. Please enjoy the rest of your commencement weekend and safe travels home. Thank you very much, everyone.